Mesechta Zevachim Daf Ayin Beis Amud Aleph. We're starting now from the second line from the bottom. In the Mishnah, we learned two cases. I'm going to go a little review from yesterday. We learned one case of kachim, meaning carbon, a whole bunch of carbones of hegdish, and in it fell a chatas, which is chayiv meses, that it has to die. It's a chatas meses, it's a chatas ha-meses. Got mixed between a whole bunch of zvachim, a whole bunch of kachim de kebehemes. A chatas ha-meses, so what do we have to do? We have to kill all of them. Then we learned a second case by like a roiba, a nirva, that got mixed up with a bunch of karbanes. There we said we don't kill them. You're allowed to have hana. So what do? You let them all get a mum, and then you buy over the karbanes. And of course, one you leave out according to one day. Okay. So yesterday we had a question. The first case, which is chatas hamesos, that got mixed in with other karbanes. We said that we learned elsewhere that it's not batal, and you have to kill them all. We learned a similar case in Tmura. What was the case in Tmura that we learned? That the case in Tmura, it says even this is in Mesachta Tmura. If it's a reveya or a nirva, it's mamish the same case. A reveya or nirva that got mixed in with other behemoths. The din is that it's not batal. So the Gemara said, "Hey, there's a."
We didn't say that in our Mishnah.
We also had reveya nirva in our Mishnah too. We'll get to that soon.
Yeah, but didn't say that all of them have to die.
No, like reveya nirva. No, but what we want to bring is that it's not batal. About not being batal, we already know from Tmura. He brings down a reveya and a nirva that got mixed up with other karbanis. It doesn't say yirash. It says it's not batal. It's not batal.
But what happens to all the other?
Doesn't say it doesn't. It says it's not batal, and the other behemoths are puzzled from as a carbon.
But only when they get a mum,
They don't have to be.
So we'll get to
They
that.
don't have to be killed or anything like that.
No, by us is chatas hanei. So the Gemara wants to be mechal. You know what's the difference between our first case and the case in Tmura? Our case in our Mishnah is asa legavoya. You're talking about it was a mixture with karbanes. So it's not only asa as a carbon, but it's asa for a hedging. You can't even redeem it. There's no redeeming and waiting till it gets a moment and redeeming. There's no redemption. So I would have said, hey, it's such a severe case that nobody can have a no. Maybe the Chacham will say it could become batal. It's too much. So then the Gemara says, now, if you're going to say only the case of our Mishnah, I would say only of the case of Tmura, I'll say Tmura is batal, because Tmura is not so severe, because it's mutter for a hedged. It's not a double iser. But here in our Mishnah, it's side for kachim it's asa, and side for hedged it's asa. So I would say there it won't be batal, because the Torah is going in our Mishnah, here in our Mishnah, versus there in Tmura, it's more lenient because the Reva Beneva is mutter lahedjit, so maybe it should be batal. It's nicht as a starke Yisra.
Because it's mutter ba'ano.
It's mutter ba'ano, so sein batal. Then the Gemara says, hey, no, you can't. You don't actually. You stop it. You let it get mum, and then you can read it. Okay, so then the Gemara says, hey, but this case we also learned Reva Beneva is the second case in our Mishnah. It's exactly the same case as in Tmura. So what are you telling me? A new case in Tmura? That same case we learned in our Mishnah. Says
Which one came first?
he's not talking about our. We're talking about our Mishnah as first. So what do we need a case in Tmura? He says you're so funny. He says our Mishnah doesn't say how much you become. Maybe it's batal b'meya, batal b'masrayim. How do you know that it's not batal at all? Maybe it's not batal in Bereiv. But batal b'meya about Masai, maybe such a rate it's batal. Doesn't say how much. There it says in Tmura bechol shahein, even a kosher one, it's still not going to be bottle. So Surah and Asas, the whole Tarubis, even Becholshu, it's going to be Asas Tarubis, and it doesn't become bottle. In fact, you want to say only the second case in Tmura, because there it says more details. It says that it's not bottle. Even Becholshu, it's not going to be bottle. Our mission doesn't say it. So just say the case of Tmura. Stop. It says that you are Yirachi, stubble, but it doesn't say that it's not going to be bottle B'meya. Messiah. Maybe there it's talking about less than Meya and less than Messiah. But maybe B'meya Messiah it is bottle.
I mean here.
In our Mishnah, of course, it doesn't say Kama. Here in Tmura, here in our Mishnah doesn't say how much. There in Tmura it says B'cholshu. So the Gemara says, say just the Tmura. There it says more details. B'cholshu, it's not bottle. He says you can't just say there because he doesn't say what the takana is. Where does it say about the takana what you should do? In our Mishnah, it says Yiru ad sheyistavu. Let it go, pasha zich, till it gets a mum, then you sell it, and then buy the other behemoths. That's what we learned so far. Today,
There's no Isra Hanoi.
huh? There's no Isra no, but
we don't know which one.
right. But that takana does not say in Tmura. That's why we need our Mishnah. So now comes our Mishnah. Now, in fact, the Hedjit, Nami Tanale, in fact, this case of that it's not Batal Bereiv, even we say, and you can't have a Hedjit. The first case was even a Hedjit can't have a right? By a Shoya Niskel that got mixed up, or Chatois HaMesois that got mixed up with Kabanis, all of them have to die. There's no way out. Like I told you said they'll find a loophole with thousands of behemoths. Maybe, yeah, maybe no, that's a joke we were saying. No, it's a joke. But we're saying, yeah, I'm sure. But he's saying, the Mishnah said we finished, it's us about no. So that case we learned in another Mishnah. He says in Avodah Zarah, they're identical, almost identical. It says, Elu Asurin. You see, the Hedjit, Nami Tonale, we learned also about Iser, Hano for Hedjit, that case too. Where do we learn it? We learned it in Avodah Zarah in Daled Amud Aleph. It says, Elu Asurim. These are things that are asbano, the oisin, and they acid. It's where it's mixed with bechol shahein, even with a kolshu, and it's not going to be bottled. Yayin nesach. Let's say somebody poured wine for avodah zarah, and it got mixed up with other wines. Forget about it. There's no bottle. There's no beetle. And it's also you got to throw it out. It's garbage.
You can't have a no.
No, you can't have a no even. Or ba'avodah zecham or shoy. That was used for Avodah Zecham or Shoyer Haniskal. This is cases in our Mishnah. It's not bottle. So why do we need the first case of our Mishnah? It mentions it already in Tmura. So the Gemara Tzriche. We need our Mishnah and the Mishnah in Avodah Zarah, even though they're identical, it's Asma no, but there's a slight difference. Our Mishnah, if you remember, it says Kol Hazvachim Shenes Arvu. All korbanes. You were talking about all karchim. That there was a whole bunch of kachim the animals, in it was mixed shoyra niskel. There, it's not talking about kachim. It's talking about just schulin. So he says, what's the difference? He says, the ima hasam. Oh, so we want to show you that each one has yesh bazeh, mashem bazeh, and that's why we need both cases. I just want to show you the difference in the cases is the Al Mishnah is talking about it got mixed up with kol asmachim with a whole bunch of kabanes. Over there, it's talking about chulin. What's the difference? He says the email hasam. If I would have learned the cases in Avodah Zarah where it's not bottled, but there it's talking about chulin. Hava amina, I would have said that this din that it doesn't become bottle is lehedjit. If it's a loss for a hedjit, that he has to throw out, it got a shayra niskel got mixed up with a whole bunch of kabanes, behemoths, chulin. You got to kill them all. You can't. There's no. That's a hedjit could suffer. Oh, avokadshi, avolagava. But our Mishnah is talking about kachin hegdish. Hegdish doesn't make business. If they lose it, they lose it. It's gone. Avolagava. We're not going to say hegdish that it's not bottle. Maybe for hegdish it should be a bottle. It should be such a loss for hegdish. Hegdish doesn't have such an easy way getting back money and getting back there, whatever is lost.
What did we say? That you should just let them till they touch it till they get the moon, right?
Yeah, let it be bottled.
But you can't use them for any carbonates anymore.
Right. And you say you can't use it at all. You got to throw it out. You got to kill them all. It was mixed. Achatois, hamesois that got mixed up.
Okay, but
There's no way of it.
But there he's not talking about Chatois HaMeis.
Weird. Our
In Avodah Zarah.
yeah, similar. Shoya niskel, but not mixed with karbonis.
Sure.
Hadyotis.
Oh, but Shemisk is not in from the HaMeis.
So
That's
there-
just like the din, no?
So there, it's not going to be bottle and it's going to be a loss for Hedged. No, the Hedged is a businessman that they even machen geld. It's like I thought my father had a wrote to the Rebbe when he came to America that he wants a Yechidus anyway. The Rebbe took him in Yechidus, and the Rebbe he tells the Rebbe Chamishkin Pruta. I'm here with two kids, Chamitcha and Nachman. I have nothing. How do I make panos? The Rebbe said bar geld. So my father said, Bargengeld, wie doch Hauptsache, Bargengeld. He says, du gefunden a job. Aber ich kann nicht kein Melach, ist der Rebbe, and my father said. The Rebbe said, du bist ein Chois Arbeiter, ich weiß. You give us, oh, du bist Eiz gegeben. And and then the Rebbe told him, go into sweaters. He went into pantyhose, and then the pantyhose that he was selling he bought a pound, it was 2 dozen, it's a lot, for 60 cents, for nothing. But he used to have women put it on boards to make sure it doesn't have holes. So he called it seconds. So the Rebbe said, don't call it seconds. There's noch beter give that. He says, don't call it first quality, call it good quality. And that's it.
They
How to tell him how to do business.
Yeah.
have the businessman.
My father was very green at the beginning. He bought brown shoes. He liked nice stuff. He bought brown shoes. Nissan took away the shoes from him. And he said, du willst nicht zurück, darfst du ausgasen 32 Prokentine Balpe. 32 Prokentine Balpe. For Knas, if you want back your brown shoes. He said, I'll give it back. He was a Yosim, so he says, okay. In 2 weeks he finished. My father says, he had a very good memory, he had almost a photographic memory. And then he said, since he already did the 32 Prokem, he finished the 53. He wanted to finish it. Anyway,
Give him another pair of shoes?
no, not. The Rebbe told Reb Nissen, this is Minsky telling me, the Rebbe told Reb Nissen, as he should tell my father, so he's chazing my mom, but Rabbim, or Nishlan sein Namen. The Rebbe said, not my name. But there, Mullah Lipsker was telling me that Sender Menken and Yankel Lipsker and Label Lipsker, they were like the Gaboyim of in Kutayiz. And they would write to the Frierdiker Rebbe, which my mother and my father had to Chazay, Chol Silvi, and Daita Moskva. He did the big my mother. Anyway, sagt die Mother, if you're going to say from here, we're going to learn the Hirah. Now, if you're going to learn from our Mishnah, I'll say, our Mishnah makes sense, it shouldn't be bottle. Havamina, you know why? Hani Mili, when do we say it shouldn't be bottle? Kochin. Hashoya Niskel to put on the Mizbeach. The Mayis is disgusting. So there I say it's not bottle. Avol Chulim, but the Gemara in Avodah Zarah, it didn't get mixed up with, we're not talking about putting on the Mizbeach, which is disgusting. We're talking about Chulim. So Chulim, the Loi Mayis, for a regular person, is nicht. He'll exchange it, let it get a mum, and he'll use the money to buy another Chulim the cannibal. You're not buying with the money of the Shoya Niskel a carbon to put on the Mizbeach. That's disgusting. So it's the opposite. So he says, I would say the opposite. Ema isurian ale bat beruba. I say by stam isurian, which is mixed with cholin, it should be bat beruba. That's why I need both.
Nothing should happen to all the animals?
No, you leave the what do you mean? He should.
In
Oh,
other words, I'm sure how this got mixed up with the Chumvika animals.
it should be bottle.
And therefore,
That's
all the
it.
animals, nothing
And take out one just as a shaydan. It's going to become a suffix. That's what he says on the bottom. It's fun. Here it says over here.
The other animals are okay.
Yes. Here he says.
I live in Meiser. I take out one and six.
I saw it before, but it says that he should just leave out one animal, and it's not a zichre zach anymore. Now it's only a suffix. So from his suffix, we're going to be mekel.
Since they're all chulun, they can have
Right. In fact, but how do you just how do you turn away from a pasuk which says mefeish? You go after Reiv. It says mefeish acharei rabin lahatris. How do you just ignore, disregard this pasuk That's a pasuk in the Torah. From this pasuk we say when there's a chayfetz, a chafetz shel
We had a
isur
plan. Barry, you can't be,
that's mixed with similar chafatzim, mixed, and there's a isur mixed, and you can't tell between the isur and the heta. Says the Torah, achrei ram lahate. That it's batmarayv. So how do you just disregard this pasuk? That's Gemara's kasha.
even when it's karbanis, even if there's a bunch of
Anything, isur becomes bottle. Finished. So the Gemara. Huh? Oh, so there's different batal b'shishim, batal b'meya, batal b'masayim. By truma, it's batal b'meya. By kelayim, it's batal b'masayim. Yeah, there's but batal, so sein batal. Says Gemara b'chitei mechashivi. And if you're going to want to say, oh, it's a davar chashuv. A behemoth is a davar chashuv. That's why we batli. It can be batal. Says the Gemara, this only makes sense according to the man da'ama that says kol shedak limanes shaninu. That when we learn the Masechta Allah, it says kol. Kol means anything that's the derech to be counted, even though sometimes it's not counted. Sometimes it's counted as the derech to count it individually. By counting something individually makes it a davar chashuv, and it's not batal. But and the Rebbe says by us in Shmeis that we were counted so many times in Pasha Yigash, in Pasha Shmeis. Why do we count so many times? The Rebbe says the counting is a davar shel chavivus, and there's all kinds of things that there are things that are be'elef loy batal. A davar shel b'minyan is nish batal, and the Rebbe says by shikha, it's also if it's something that it's chashuv, then it's not shikha means that he forgot something in the field, you have to leave for that name. But if it's something that you normally count, it's a davar chashuv by you, then there's no din of shikha. So that's why the Hebrew says, I didn't forget you. It's nicht talking shikha. I counted you in Shmeis, in Vayigash, and previously to say that davar shebeminyan is loy batal. So we're saying this behemoth is a davar shebeminyan, but that's only according to the man that says that even if the derech is to count it individually, and sometimes you don't count it individually, sometimes you sell it by the group, it's still considered a davar shebeminyan, and it's not going to be batal. That in the Mishnah we learned the nusach, the word es, not call. Es means that we all the time count it as individuals, and we never sell it as a group. So now we got a problem. Sometimes a person sells a stade from a whole group of animals, sometimes together. So since it's not always, so then it's not a davar chashuv, so it should be batal. What are you going to answer about the man that learns es? And the Tanan, where do we see that? It says now the Gemara brings a Mishnah where they bring down the machlokes. If the nusach in the Mishnah there in Masechta Allah is kol or es. What do we learn? Misha hayaloi chavilei tilson. Someone who had a bundle of fenugreek. Fenugreek is a very expensive spice that sweetens the tafshil, but it was shel klaya kerem. It was of kelayim. The din is yidolko. Klaya kerem. What are you supposed to do? You're supposed to burn it. From where do we learn that out? Because it says loy siza kamacha, and it says kilay. Loy siza kamacha kelayim. It says pen tugdash, or pen tigdash. I'm sorry. The word tigdash, they dashin tukad eish. It should burn in a fire if it's kelayim. But and then it got mixed up with chaverim, and this bundle of kelayim got mixed up with other sholheta, and this acherim got mixed up with others. Kulon yidlok, all of them, it's not batal, and they all get burnt. Divrei Rab Meir, those are the words of Rab Meir. The Chacham argue, Yalo, he says, take from the taruvis one chavila, corresponding to the chavila of the kelayim, the amount of chavila that was that bundle that was kelayim, or if it was chavilas, let's say 10 bundles were kelayim, take out those 10 bundles, and the rest will be mutter. Be'echad b'umasayim, and it will be bottle 1 to 200. Meaning if it becomes 1 kelayim in 200 chavilim bundles that are tar, so one will become batal. Where do we learn that
So
out?
you still have to take it out?
You have to take out one, corresponding to the Isur.
But you just said it gets bottled, right?
That's when Echad Masayim, right? But you have to take out one. Here he says, even though we say Bat B'Rayv Klayim is more chamor, and it's only when there's Masayim. Where do we learn out this year? We learn out from Truma. Truma is also for a zar to eat it, but it's mutaz ba'na. It's mutar ba'na. But it's if you have Truma that got mixed up with your chulin, so it becomes batal echad b'meya. But kilayim is a double. Why is it double? Because kilayim chutz was sefran de Yisrael kilayim. There's a Yisrael. It's not just asur. It's asur ba'na. It's not asur just asur ba'achila. It's asur ba'na too. So it's a double Yisrael. Therefore, it's masayim. That's what the Gemara learns out. And he says, of course, this year is only Medahabanim, because Medaraisa, we say Bat B'Rayv. Anyway, Bekitza, we're going back, so it should be Bat, the Chacham say, Yal B'Echad Masayim. So here you see the machlokes between Yabmei and the Chachamim. Let's see why the Yabmei say that it's not going to be Batal. Why did he say it's going all, if it got mixed up, the Kalayim with Achedim which are mutter or heter, and these Achedim got mixed up with other Achedim which are heter. We say all of them have to be burnt according to Rabbi Meir. Because Shahoya Rabbi Meir Oima, the nusach is kol shedak elimnis mikadesh. Kol means even though sometimes you don't count it individually, but since the derech is to count it individually, therefore it's not going to be bottled, the kalayim to the heter, and you have to burn them all. And the Chachamim say, Einam Kaddish. There's no pri that will answer the taruves, meaning that there's only 6 types of items that will not become batal. Which are they? Elashish B'Alma, which are very chashuv, and the Einam are not going to be batal. Rabbi Akiva says there are 7. The Elohim, and these are they. Agoizei perach. Agoizei perach. Perach is a nut from the place called. That perach is the name of the place. Agoiz is the nut. Is the nut. Perach is the place.
What's so special about this nut?
So it says that it was a cheshire nut. Mistama was very big. V'rimoinei Badan, and the pomegranates from the city of Badan. The chaviyos sesumes, barrels that were sealed off, so that if they're sealed, it's good wine. It's not, because if it's open, the taste starts getting weaker and weaker. It was sealed for a while. The chilfei trodin, and the stalks of beets, and trodin from trodin is from this place called Teret. The kilchei kruv, and stalks of cabbage. Here we're talking about it was Eretz Yisrael, the Rashi says, and it was very big. The stalks of the cabbage was very big in Eretz Yisrael. The Eretz Yisrael Yakruv Godel Kila. It was as big as a tree. The cabbage.
Like grapes in the mahogany.
Yeah. And he says Udolas Yavanis, and the gourds, the Greek gourds, also. They were very chashve gourds. Rabbi Akiva, they're not batal, because they were cheshve peiris. Rabbi Akiva Meisev. Rabbi Akiva adds, Av ki kodesh balabayis. Even the loaves of a personal balabayis, because a nachtoin, if you get kikrish nachtoin from a baker, they make it small. It's not big. When somebody makes a pravata loaf of bread, it's a bomba, and then it's, maybe even add sourdough. A chaticharu is garbage, sure. So those are not going to be bottled. Arla, when it comes to Allah, if something from Allah got mixed up with heter, so it asks the taruves and haroi likala. Of course, only those things that are shaykh to Allah. If Allah got mixed up with other minim of Arla, like what does he mean? Allah that got. meaning that a goyze perech and rimoine baden and chavis yayin is also grapes
Yeah.
that will get mixed up with arladika grapes a little bit. It's not going to be bottled. If it's such a cheshiv min, v'haroya leklaya kerem, meaning not from the pedasila, not pedasila. We mean tvua yerek, right?
Yeah.
Because by klaya kerem it has to be tvua and vegetables, grain and vegetables. So they become asbi klayim. So we're talking about the stalks of beans, or the cabbage stalks, or the gourds, the Greek gourds, or bread, which is grain. Klaya kerem, they asa the taruves because of klaya kerem, because it's a davar chashuv. So they become asa. They eat malah, and we learned on that. Rabbi Yochanan Amar es shedak limon shamino. We learned the girsa in our law that it's not kol, it's es. Es means it always has to be counted by ones. It can never be counted as a group. If it's counted as a group, even at times it's most of the times it's counted individually. But if it's sometimes counted as a group, it's going to be bottled. So he says the only time it's not going to be bottled if it's s. Like these minim, they're always counted one at a time. They're very expensive. Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish argues. He says we learn Kol that if it's the derech to count it individually, even though sometimes they count it as a group, he learns in the words of Meir, it's still a davar chashuv and it's not going to be bottled. Says the Gemara, it makes sense according to Reish Lakish that why it's not going to be behemoths achshuvis are not going to be bottled. Why are they not going to be bottled? Because it's even though he learns cold. Even though sometimes you sell a couple of behemoths together, but since the derech is to count them individually, so that's why it's not bottled. That's why we learned in the mission it's chashuv and it's not going to be bottled. But according to Rabbi Yochanan, that the shita is as the lashon as, so behemoths are sometimes sold, sometimes counted individually, but sometimes they're counted as a group. So it should be bottled. What are you going to say then? Amar Papa answered, Hi Tana, the Tana of Al Mishnah that holds that the behemoths are not going to be bottled. Tana the Liter Ktziyasu it's a different Tana. It's not Abmeya. We thought it was Abmeya because it was a Stam Mishnah, and Stam Mishnah is Abmeya. But it's not working out according to Rabbi Yochanan, because Rabbi Yochanan says that the Shei should be bottled according to Abmeya. Because Rabbi Yochanan says you learn S in the Nusach, not Kol. S means it always has to be counted individually. But if there's a time that's counted together, it's not a davar chashuv, it should be bottled. Al Mishnah says it's not bottled. So he says it follows the Tana of the Liter Ktziyasu. Rabbi Yeshua it goes, Rabbi Yehuda learned that it goes according to Rabbi Yeshua, not according to Rabbi Meir. Liter Ktziyasu, we're going to learn soon what it is, but Liter Ktziyasu means a leader of pressed figs. The Omar, cold davar sheish by minyan, that Rabbi Yeshua said, cold, he learned, Rabbi Yeshua learns cold, not S. Cold davar sheish by minyan. Anything that's a derech to count, even though sometimes you sell it as a group, like a igule devela, you can sell it as a cake of a whole bunch of dry figs. Right. I feel it with the abundant, even by something which is only going to be a yisra abundant, like truma shel ktsiyos. For different reasons, truma shel ktsiyos is not part of the truma daraisa. Loy bottle. So he says, even the abanan, if it's a davar sheish, which is only yisra abanan, but if it's kol, if the derech to count it individually, it's not going to be bottled. The kol came with the daraisa, how much more so? Like in the case of our Mishnah, when you're talking about karbanis, that a behema, shoya nisko, that got mixed up with other karbanis, which is a din daraisa, for sure it's not going to be bottled. Stop it.